On today's show, campers walk off the map. Right in the middle of Minnesota. Discover our state's protected heritage lakes. Local anglers chase a dream and North America's biggest fish right here in Minnesota. And a look back at the legacy of a Minnesota musher.
Minnesota Bound. Brought to you by Minnesota Select GMC dealers.
Hey everybody, Laura and I welcome you to the show.
Winter is finally here. Perfect backdrop for a story of a real rarity.
Yeah, what Minnesota calls heritage lakes. Let me explain. You see, a lot of people love to get away from civilization to a completely wild space, like the Boundary Waters.
Turns out a couple of Minnesota state parks offer about the same experience.
Road signs tend to keep most travelers on track. But Mille Lacs Cathio's head honcho hopes his sign might draw you off the highway. And into his lonely park.
This has some of the more unique ski trails in the state with the hills that we have, the rolling topography left over from the glacial moraine.
35 miles of trails. We care about one that leads to nowhere.
Cathio is a favorite place for our family and has been for a long time since the kids were little. And then you see it on the map and say, gosh, there's got to be a out-of-the-way spot where not a lot of people go, and so let's try that.
Jeff Sackett decided today he would finally explore the trail less traveled.
From the closest parking lot, it's about 1.5 miles. You got to want to get in there, right?
Oh, we do.
It has kind of a beautiful rolling topography before you get here, and you can see that it's all the way around.
Pretty wild.
It's a remote lake. You have to walk to get into it. There's no road access.
Black bass, an almost Boundary Waters feeling destination without quite as much dedication needed to get there.
There you go.
It's what we call a heritage lake, so there's some special regulations involved to give a little different experience out there.
Seek outside.
Heritage designation means we don't allow motors of any type, no gas or electric trolling motors, no power augers, no electronics either, so no Vexilars, fish finders, GPS units. We have a backpack campsite, so it's got some of the standard stuff similar to what you'd find at a Boundary Waters campsite.
Including the feel of being out in the middle of nowhere. Black Bass, one of only 2 heritage lakes in the entire state. Just look around.
There aren't a lot of remote lakes outside of Boundary Waters, Superior National Forest, Chippewa National Forest that don't have road access.
Exactly why we fish alone.
I may have just missed one.
It's a beautiful, beautiful spot. It's just kind of tucked away sort of down low in these beautiful hills.
Where time seems to slow down. At least when it comes to catching a fish.
I don't know, Normie. I think you gotta try the tungsten.
I will say, I'm all about heritage. But fishing this way is not that much fun.
No, you're right.
So be it.
Home sweet home.
I could see backpacking in here on a nice summer day. Bring a canoe along with you, float around this lake. You'd probably have it all to yourself, right?
Just like Minnesota campers 100 years ago. A black and white time when people loved to get outdoors and get away.
Being here or any other place where the DNR makes this available, it's an opportunity to harken back to those times. to be able to kind of go back to that has a kind of a nostalgic feel.
It's good to know heritage and history still exist, even on one body of frozen water in the land of 10,000 widely developed lakes.
It's a remote experience without the trip to the boundary waters. I think it definitely is a kind of secret gem we've got tucked away.
Coming up next, meet two winter anglers who not only live for winter fishing, but share it with the masses.
It's a 70 maybe.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Minnesota Select GMC dealers, Star Bank, Rapala Ice Force, and by Factory Motor Parts.
Up next, two Minnesotans try to catch the biggest fish around. And it turns out these anglers also have a knack for video work too.
When the sun sets over the St. Croix River, Jacob Halls and Blake Bednar get to work. They hope to hook a fish so big it won't fit through a single hole.
Hopefully 70, 80 inches. Biggest fish in the state.
Huge, huge fish.
Their ice shack becomes our base camp for an all-night sit.
The nighttime is the right time.
Lake sturgeon swim below and they grow to massive proportions.
Very, very big. You're talking fish enter the 100-pound range. It's a closely guarded secret. Big, juicy night crawlers.
With these big rods, we're not going to see a tap, tap, tap on the end of our rod. So we have, hopefully, bobbers. I call it a snowman. Tight line it to the base. And so it's just a hair trigger. Now, any quick bite, you can be playing on your phone or anything and you'll see it swing into the hole.
Jacob has proof.
These big adult-sized fish.
There he is. Go up there.
Jacob and Blake record monster fish catches for their online fishing show called Northwoods Angling.
Buddy, it's a 70 maybe.
Their dream to go big has caught on.
Yeah, Blake. I got it. Oh my God. Are you kidding me? We still have. We kind of pride ourselves on looking for the big fish.
I really want to put people in awe. That's my big deal, is I want to show them something that maybe they don't know lives in these rivers and lakes and might be scared to see.
Tonight, I'd love to be scared.
We do a round robin.
But first, I'm wowed.
Yeah, pulling. All right, so you go first.
No, we're picking for a fish.
Well, I know, but you have the ace, so you go first.
Yeah, you got to go first. You heard his rules.
Come on, do it again.
Before I get to the end. All right, tell me.
Stop. What am I doing here?
Just, yeah, we'll do a second pick.
Come on!
Growing up, card tricks paid for Jacob's bait.
Corporate events, bars, kids stuff.
On the ice, it passes time.
That's the Norwegian shuffle, I call it.
My magic trick is I'm able to make a fish appear through a fishing hole.
Here we go.
Tighten it up!
I'm trying.
Pure and total chaos.
If we are hooked up.
What do you feel like?
Oh no!
When they come in packs.
Okay.
Oh!
You got one?
Oh, yeah.
Look at that creature. Oh, there's so much power to him.
Baby fish.
Let's get one 5 times this size.
Yeah! That small sturgeon only fuels their fire.
They're like the odd couple of fishing.
A couple that found their match online.
It was on a fishing forum.
It was like fish harmony.
From then on out, we've been lifelong friends.
Their quest to catch North America's largest fish shows no signs of slowing.
Where are we going next? What's the big fish we can target? And I'm on board.
Tonight, the hunt stays close to home for a river fish as unique as the two Minnesota anglers that love to catch them.
Oh, fish on.
Hey!
Little spiker, man.
It's a really awesome creature.
Yeah, it is.
Can't catch them at home. You gotta come out here and give it a try.
Out here, the next bite just might be a record, even for these two Northwoods anglers.
Very cool. A lot of fun.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Maple Grove Lock and Safe, your premier Liberty safe dealer.
Up next, a story that all parents and all anglers can certainly appreciate. Ron Sherck meets a young brother and sister duo in a fight that no child should ever have to wrestle. Their therapy on this day is a day of ice fishing.
Truth be told, fishing is a lot like life itself. We hope for a good bite.
Last time when I was down here,
We hope for a good life.
I just mostly ate candy and caught fish.
Zach Gustafson from Renville, Minnesota already knows a lot about fishing
You only have a little space to catch a fish.
and even more about life.
I think I may have just saw one.
Zach is 10 years old. Zach's sister, Ella,
Fishy, fishy, in the brook.
she knows about fishing and life too.
What if you put a minnow on it?
Ella is 8.
When Ella was born, when she was 6 days old, we received on her newborn screening that she had cystic fibrosis. And we had no idea what it was.
Cystic fibrosis is a genetically fatal disease. There is no cure.
Even though it was a diagnosis we were getting for Ella, we quickly realized that's why Zach had been sick for 2.5 years of his life.
Diagnosis? Zach, too, had cystic fibrosis.
They know what CF is.
And they know what's going on.
Yeah, and we don't live in the gloom and doom, but that is the disease. Yeah, and I think it's their strength that keeps us strong.
2 older Gustafson children, Haley 14 and Aiden 12, are CF carriers, but not infected.
I think it's brought us closer together, huh?
But on this chilly day on Candy Ojai Lake in western Minnesota,
I'm so happy you made it out here.
yes, Mom was keeping a little fishing secret.
He watches Minnesota Bound every week, and he records episodes. So when he's doing his treatment, he watches.
Hi there. I'm Ron. How's the fishing?
Ron Sherck from Minnesota Bound.
Yeah. How'd you know that, bud?
Because I watch.
Do you? We're going to fish together a little bit? Now look down there. Look, you can see the bottom. And then you could actually maybe see a fish swimming by. What were you just telling me, Ella? You catch a bigger fish than your brother?
Well, I caught a little northern, and then I caught a little perch, but a northern was on it.
Then another secret knocking on the ice house door.
What's going on in here?
Flying in from Houston, Greg Mueller,
Just gonna give me that look?
member of the famed Acrodunk team of basket dunking entertainers.
When I came up 3 years ago and I met Zach and Ella, I fell in love with those kids. And I have such a good bond with them and a special relationship that we talk, a few times a week. They're like my kids, like I love them.
Bill Neubauer, founder of the Tim Orth Foundation, explains.
It's a nonprofit organization helping children. We do what we can and we give everything that we raise away. Last year I took a couple of kids that we helped ice fishing for the first time, and they fell in love with it. They forget about what they have for the day and catch some fish.
To help with the Ice Fishing for Kids idea, Jeff Drexler, owner of Ice Castles, donated one of his luxury fish houses to the foundation.
we've done well and we like to give back.
Meanwhile, still waiting for a bite.
Minno's working good, isn't he?
Kind of want to put on two. Does that always help?
Sometimes it does.
When he's fishing, Zach's smile disguises his rugged path through life. You know about his cystic fibrosis. You don't know about his cancer.
Zach had a little cough, and we mentioned it to the doctor, and he said, let's just do a CT scan. And they kept saying over and over, it is not lung cancer, don't worry, it's fine. It was about a week later, the doctor called me and said, I can't believe this, no one can believe this, but it is adenocarcinoma. Zachary has lung cancer.
Late in 2015, after 3 surgeries on his lungs, doctors said Zach appeared to be cancer-free.
Is this the best surprise ever?
Yeah, it was fun and surprising.
He's a powerhouse, he's a fighter.
He's resilient.
And all he wants to do is fish.
And be a kid.
And be a 10-year-old kid.
Still ahead, we highlight the life and times of a Minnesota musher and entrepreneur. Most folks know the name Steger.
Minnesota Bound is brought to you by Connecticut, Mountain Dew, Minnesota Rebound, and by Totem Resorts, the premier destination for world-class fishing.
Today's Minnesota Bound Classic takes us back to the year 2000.
Yeah, to the very snowy trail where Ron shared some time alongside Patti Steger.
A lady known for her iconic footwear.
Morning in the BWCA. It's not just wolves who greet the day. This time it's sled dogs, a team of winter travelers assembled by one of America's well-known explorers, Patti Steger.
You're dealing with personalities just like you are dealing with, as though you were dealing with people in some respects. If you understand that about dogs and dog teams, you can be a very good dog musher.
Patti should know she's a pretty good musher, having explored parts of the world's north, the Arctic and Northwest Territories. On this day, Patti and guide Bill Slaughter are exploring their own backyard, not far from Ely, Minnesota.
You can come out here and feel totally a part of all of this, like you belong here. And I think that's what people find. That's what people find out in the wilderness.
While the dog team, mostly Malamutes, take a break, it's time to set up camp. Bill drops a line in pursuit of something to catch.
And when a fish grabs your bait, flags up. And you know you got a bite and you run over and set your hook.
Meanwhile, Patti gathers some wood.
The way to start a fire is you have to pack it kind of tight at first, and then you make a little teepee over it.
Building fires or building ideas, Patti knows the ropes. Almost 20 years ago, she started a boot-making business after the Inuit Indians taught her the value of mucklucks in the cold Arctic. Today, Patti has her own muckluck designs and 45 employees making boots and filling orders. Now there's more than $1 million worth of Steger mucklucks walking around out there somewhere, and on some pretty famous feet, too. Charles Kuralt, singer James Taylor. The boots even made the movie Grumpy Old Men. But it takes more than warm feet to land a lunker.
Took steel leader, everything. Cut the steel leader. Big fish.
Another lesson taught by nature.
Everything out here is so non-judgmental. There's no judgment out here. And this is a peaceful way to live where people can slow down.
Slow down, says the explorer. Enjoy the view of life. Patti does, from the back of a sled dog team.
Steger Mucklucks is still one of Ely's most popular destinations right in the heart of downtown.
And they're toasty warm too.
Yes.
Well, that does it for us. Be sure to drop us your story ideas and your feedback on our Minnesota Bound Facebook page.
Until next week, don't forget to introduce a kid to the great outdoors.
Transportation provided by Premier Transportation. Call 1-800-899-7433. To get more Minnesota Bound, including full episodes, go to mnbound.com. And to follow our latest adventures, like us on Facebook.